Joseph Conrad Classics Collection, Heart of Darkness, Lord Jim, Nostromo, The Secret Agent. In our mobile book summary app, discover the adventurous themes and key highlights of the book, Joseph Conrad Classics Collection, Heart of Darkness, Lord Jim, Nostromo, The Secret Agent, by Joseph Conrad. Delve into the dark experiences of protagonists across 4 captivating tales, each exploring different aspects of morality, humanity, and the struggles faced while navigating both urban and wild landscapes. The book primarily focuses on Heart of Darkness, a notable story that raises complex questions about the harsh nature of colonialism and the cost on the human soul. Be prepared for an engaging literary journey, as we guide you through intricate tales crafted to keep your interest and provoke deeper thinking.
A Seafarer's Storytelling. A group of old seafaring friends relax on a cruising yawl watching the sunset on the Thames. Marlow interrupts the silence with a comment that leads him to tell the group of his own travel experiences. The men settle in to listen, knowing that Marlow's tales hold real substance. Marlow begins with the history of Britain's conquest by the Romans, a tale of wilderness to exploitation with brute force. The scene is set for an enthralling, factual, and robust narration by Marlow, offering true tales of life as a seafarer. The fascinating journey of Marlow. Marlow's childhood fascination with maps and the desire to explore the blank spaces eventually led him to become the skipper of a steamboat. After years of unsuccessful job hunting in London, Marlow sets out to find adventure in the heart of Africa by joining a Belgian trading company on the Congo River. The company urgently needs a new captain for a steamboat whose previous captain, Fresleben, was killed by angry natives. Marlow's journey is filled with dangers and challenges, but his determination to explore the unknown places on the map drives him forward. The Guardians of Darkness. Marlow begins his journey to the headquarters of a Belgian trading company where he encounters 2 women engrossed in knitting black wool. He later describes them as guardians of the door of darkness. After a brief meeting with the director and a medical examination, Marlow visits his aunt, who views his appointment as an emissary of light. She disregards his suggestion that the company is for profit. The Brutality of the Congo. Marlow, a sailor, travels to Africa on an expedition. Upon arriving, he sees the horrid conditions of the place he found himself in. A passenger dies, and the crew drops off letters. After a month, he arrives at the Congo River Delta. There, in a trading station owned by a Belgian company, he sees the harsh reality of colonialism in action. At the trading post, he learns of an agent named Mr. Kurtz, stationed further up the river than he is. Marlow departs on foot for the central station with a group of 60 carriers, including another white man whose motivations Marlow doesn't admire. In 2 weeks, they arrive, but the reality of Kurtz's horrifying deeds overwhelms Marlow. Marlow's journey into the heart of darkness. Marlow arrives at Central Station only to discover that his steamer has sunk. He meets the station's obnoxious manager, who tells him about Kurtz, an intelligent man on a moral mission. While waiting for repairs, Marlow befriends a young aristocrat who introduces him to an oil painting Kurtz had painted. The aristocrat and the manager feel threatened by Kurtz's abilities in ivory trade, which bothers them both. Marlow overhears a conversation between the manager and his uncle about Kurtz's ill health, hoping it will soon be the end of him. The final leg of Marlow's journey. Marlow and his crew, comprising the manager, some agents, and cannibals, set off on the last lap of their journey to Kurtz's station. The navigation through the slow river proves treacherous, and the eerie silence of the surrounding jungle heightens Marlow's fears of a breakdown. The crew encounters an abandoned hut with a book on seamanship that Marlow takes with him. 8 miles from their destination, a thick fog settles, and the crew witnesses an attack that mortally wounds the black helmsman. Marlow blows the steam whistle to stop the attack, but it earns him scandalized looks from the white and cannibal crew. Marlow leads the steamer cautiously through the passage, uncertain if they've arrived too late to meet Kurtz. Kurtz's admirer and the dreadful discovery. Kurtz's admirer, a Russian man, greets the party as they draw near the station. The relationship between Kurtz and the young man was initially strained, but he eventually learned a lot from Kurtz. As Marlow gets close to the station, he realizes that the wooden ornaments on the fence poles around the building were human skulls. Kurtz is carried on a stretcher by natives, and despite his illness, he still commands their respect. As the party approaches the station, they encounter a young man in a patched-up, Harlequinesque outfit who greets them warmly. The man is a strong admirer of Kurtz and has been busy running errands for him. Kurtz's station was found by chance, and since their meeting, the young man has spent a great deal of time listening to him and taking care of him during his illnesses. Although their relationship was challenging initially, Kurtz and the Russian man developed a close bond over time. The young man reveals to Marlow that Kurtz used intimidation and force to make the natives see him as a godlike figure, which he finds disturbing. As Marlow draws closer to the station, he discovers the gruesome reality of Kurtz's tactics. He initially mistakes the wooden ornaments on the fence poles for decorations but finds out they are human skulls. A group of natives carries Kurtz on a stretcher, and despite his illness, he still commands respect from them. Kurtz is weak but still manages to speak and stop the native people from preventing him from being carried on board the steamer. The Heart of Darkness. Kurtz's journey into darkness and death in the African jungle is recounted by Marlow, who learns about humanity's brutal atrocities. Marlow's journey to the Heart of Darkness in Africa begins with his meeting two women and then boarding a steamer to travel upriver into the continent's interior. Soon, he becomes obsessed with finding the enigmatic Kurtz, a legendary ivory trader who has vanished into the jungle. When Marlow finally arrives at Kurtz's post, he finds a man who has gone completely native and is worshipped by the locals. However, Marlow also discovers that Kurtz has been engaging in brutal and exploitative practices that have become the stuff of legend. He is a madman who has lost his soul to the jungle's terrors. Kurtz's descent into madness and alienation is depicted in detail. He has lost his grip on reality and become consumed by his own ambitions. Marlow is both horrified and fascinated by Kurtz's story, as he meets with the Russian trader who informs him of Kurtz's inner workings with the natives. Kurtz's eventual death is painful and disturbing, with his final words of the horror. The horror, reflecting his realization of the tragic and terrible nature of human existence. Marlow is left to recount the dark tale and to try to make sense of the human capacity for evil. At the end of the story, Marlow finds himself struggling with the implications of Kurtz's life and death. He is left to question his own moral compass and the dark side of human nature. In the end, he can only return to civilization with the knowledge that the heart of darkness lies within each of us.
As you conclude the summary of Joseph Conrad Classics Collection, Heart of Darkness, Lord Jim, Nostromo, The Secret Agent, have a clear understanding of complex human emotions and moral conflicts arising from personal struggles, and the harsh realities of colonialism. Conrad leaves us pondering the darkness within the human soul and the ultimate cost of taming wild lands for personal gain. These enticing novel summaries come together to create a compelling work that showcases the vast spectrum of human emotions, and the consequences of choices made in trying situations. By exploring this collection, you will gain a deeper appreciation of human nature's dualities, including lightness and darkness, hope and despair, and love and hate.